From beautiful Penticton, British Columbia, it's the first panel of the new hockey season. Tom Gazzola alongside Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer from the Oilers Radio Network. Nice to be back in the saddle with you boys for another season of Oilers hockey. Here we are at the Young Stars Classic, the 2017 edition of this tournament, gentlemen, and the Oilers riding success once again. Bob, what are you seeing from these young guys?
Well, a couple things. I mean, it's interesting. Glenn Sather kind of built the Edmonton Oilers of the 1980s off of a premise that had free flow with an attack with the Winnipeg Jets. And I know, Jack, we were really impressed in 2013 with how good the Winnipeg Jets were skill-wise. And that was the year that the Oilers went 0-3 in this rookie tournament. They scored 6 goals. Obviously, they lost. They didn't have enough horsepower up front offensively. They had a big, tough team, but they couldn't score. And so the organization since then has really tried to make sure they've had scoring and skill in the lineup. And since then, the Oilers have gone 9-0-2. And it's, in my mind, it's the start to the year about creating the right type of culture and environment.
Bob, you talk about that culture and environment. Jerry Fleming mentioned he wants the team to win. You learn how to win in life as well. But Jack, the Oilers crew is doing it without a star in this lineup. Truly.
Well, I think in recent years you've seen guys like Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Taylor Hall at this tournament. And I don't, look, Chad Butcher has 3 goals through 2 games, but I wouldn't say he's dominated this tournament. He's been opportunistic, and that's what the Oilers have been. They've gotten real good goaltending. I mean, Stuart Skinner gave him a great start the other night in a shutout win over Winnipeg, and I thought Dylan Wells was rock solid and outplayed his OHL rival Tyler Parsons in the Friday opener against Calgary. But really what this has been about is the Oilers have just been a little bit better in all phases than their counterparts at this tournament. They've been rock solid. They haven't made huge mistakes. When they have made the odd miscue, their goaltending has been there, and they've had balanced scoring up and down the lineup and balanced contributions, especially on defense. When they've gotten in trouble, they've gotten out of it by being strong on the puck. Caleb Jones, for me, the one guy on the back end that maybe sticks out.
I'm glad you brought up the defense, because now all of a sudden, Bob, there's some excitement around the up-and-coming crop of young defensemen that were drafted maybe a couple of years ago. What are we seeing from them right now?
Well, there should be excitement, but the defense should also be the more noticeable parts of the team, in my opinion, Jack, because they've got more drafted players, on defense. I mean, the other night against the Winnipeg Jets rookies, the Oilers only had 1 drafted forward in the lineup. That's it. So, you're sitting in a situation where Edmonton does have some depth. Several of those players are going to be in the American Hockey League. Obviously Ethan Bear and Caleb Jones, and Ziad Pagan will be in the mix.
Does that speak to the increased depth of recent Oiler drafts? Because we're not talking about 1st and 2nd round picks.
No, absolutely. They've hit on a couple 4th and 5th round picks. The year they got Jones and Bear back-to-back, and getting Pagan in the 7th round, and then taking it, Ryan Mantha, former 4th round pick of the New York Rangers as well. I think fans should be pretty excited about him, a 6'5", 229 right shot guy that can play on the power play. So Edmonton's going to have, those guys are a couple years away, but in this tournament, they've been critical to the Oilers' success.
Guys, let's take a look at Wednesday. Something a little bit different that we haven't seen in years past. We're used to the Golden Bears game this year. It's a Nate McEwen all-star team against the Oilers rookies. What do we expect from that game at Rogers Place on Wednesday night?
Well, there's plenty of Edmonton flavor on both of those teams, but there also is among the Oiler prospects at this year's Penticton tournament. So I don't expect, even if Edmonton rides into that 4th and final rookie game at 3-0, any sort of letdown. They're going to be excited to play some of their friends, some of the guys they've seen and played against growing up. And really, for the Oiler rookies, Bob, you talked about, creating that winning mentality right from the outset, right from the first weekend of September. A chance to go 4-0 for a 2nd consecutive year is still in the offing.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is I have some empathy for the kids from Nate and Grant McEwen, because I actually think if it was just Nate or just Grant McEwen, as a team, they might have a better chance than a combined team. So I'm going to be really interested to see, how much the coaches give away in terms of their type of game plan that they're going to go with, and how they're going to forecheck and those sort of things. It's going to make for a unique experience in Rogers Place on Wednesday night.
All right, guys, always a pleasure doing this with you. Look forward to a tremendous season of the panel.
Your hair looks awesome, by the way.
I grew it out. This is the new me. It's very Swedish influenced. Like I said, it's fun to do this with you guys. Should be an exciting season of hockey, Oilers style. As we say goodbye from Penticton, Tom Gazzola, Jack Michaels, and Bob Stauffer coming at you once again.